of the section as well. So we do our youth webinars. Let us talk it youth webinars. This week we have two webinars. One for little youths, very smart ones. That is on Friday to the tomorrow 9 to 10 p.m. EST, and another youth webinar on election with the older kids. That's from 4 to 5 p.m. EST. With that, we begin today's webinar, and today's topic is very unusual. It is launch your product using Toyota Production System (TPS) in software industry. Strategies to reduce time and cost, gain high quality and productivity using this TPS system. And we have a unique presenter also, our guest speaker today, Shovan Panda, with over 20 years of experience in IT industry in top organizations like Infosys and Saskin. He has worked with Fortune 100 clients in manufacturing, financial securities, retail, CPG, railroad, and logistics sector. And he's also the CEO of Magnustein Holdings, a niche entity in sales and marketing for a real estate sector, and co-founder of 100 Crore Club, India's fastest growing business mastermind of entrepreneurial community. He's a startup mentor, professional coach, entrepreneur, keynote speaker, angel investor as well. And he is also a mentor at IIM Udaipur Incubation Center and a product leadership coach at the Institute of Product Leadership. And he is already mentoring close to 20 startups. And he is a trainer for Toyota Production System, design thinking, sales and marketing strategies, company valuation, fundamental analysis, and technical analysis for stock market. If that was not enough, he is also the author of an upcoming book, Unleash Your Potential and Break Free. But the best of all, the profile which I have gone through is his mantra, which is success is a decision. Cannot agree with you more, Shovan. Wonderful to have you. Absolutely honored to have you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Julian. It's my pleasure to talking to all of you. So let me share the screen to talk about today's topic. Yeah. Okay. So what we are going to discuss today is very different from what you would have heard. So we are trying to understand how I can launch my product into the market in the shortest period of time, and where you have very high productivity and efficiency, and most importantly, the quality has to be very, very, very high. And the question that comes is it possible? Can we really make something like that happen? Can we do something like this? Because we have heard about so many different methodologies which are there, like agile scrum methodology is there, and you have your regular typical waterfall model. So many models are there, but can we really do that? Can we really ensure that we have good productivity, good efficiency? Time to market is very shortened, extremely low, as well as the quality is very, very high. And can we still do it? Can we still crack it? And this is the typical challenge which is faced by most of the companies, most of the startups, because either you are not able to manage your time, or you are not able to manage the investment that you have spent or you have to spend on your company. And always there is a delay in your product launch. So what I would do is I also talk it as a leadership success strategy, because if you understand this topic well, nobody can stop you from moving fast in your journey of leadership. And that's why I call it as a leadership success strategy. So what we are going to do is we are going to move to the next slide. So what we are going to discuss today is typical business challenges which most of the companies face. We are going to talk about the relationship between time to market, cost, quality, and productivity. I'm going to burst some of the myths. What are the ways in which I will be able to identify the right problems and then find solutions for those problems? And of course, towards the end, we'll talk about the implementation of Toyota production system. So let's not worry about the word Toyota production system, TPS. I'll give you the story behind that. But before that, so typically, if we talk about any company, any startup, now I have listed down all the possible business challenges which leaders, as a leader, as a CEO, you are going to face. And this is very, very common. You have to always continuously keep on improving. That is, in any kind of an environment in the VUCA world, in the highly competitive and complex environment, you have to still keep on improving. And then when we talk about improvement, can I optimize my cost? Can I do workforce optimization? Can you still ensure that your people are motivated? How do I reduce my cycle time? Can I improve my profitability or the EBITDA? And these are the typical goals which every leader, every CEO in the organization has it. How can I realize my product goals? How can I ensure that the knowledge management is happening so well that I don't waste time and my team members are more productive, much more productive? How can I define what are the different metrics like effort? How can you track your effort? How can you track your schedule? And most importantly, how can I make it first time right? Because moment you are not doing first time right, which means you are spending more time on fixing the issues, fixing the challenges. It could be anything. And most importantly is you are ensuring high quality and reduction of cost and time, and still you can launch your product in the market in the shortest period of time. So these are the typical business challenges which everybody face, and I'm sure you would be able to relate to at least one or two of, or more than one of these challenges, definitely, because this is what your it drives your KPIs or your OKRs are coming from all of these typical metrics that we are responsible for. So how do we solve this? How do we make sure that it works? So let's talk about relationship between time to market, cost, quality, and productivity. Now, moment we say that we will focus on quality and productivity, automatically my cost will go up, and that is what we all understand. And typically, your time to market may also get elongated. So higher the productivity, lower the cost, that we know already. But how do I ensure that? So which means, what are the different levers I can use? So many times you can have your on-site offshore ratio can be optimized. You can have different type of roles and responsibility in your team. We can do cross training, and we can do reduction of your people, your full-time equivalent, your FT reduction. This can be done. Your first vehicle coming to your production line, and the second vehicle entering into the production line. So this time is called as stack time. And this is one of the very important metric which is measured in a manufacturing setup in an assembly line. And if we delay, if there is any challenge with respect to the assembly line, the takt time becomes longer, which means the number of production that will happen per day, number of cars which will come out of your assembly line, that will drop, that will reduce. So we know that manufacturing processes are so very efficient. And how do I ensure that I learn something from a manufacturing industry and bring that into the software industry, bring that into our startups, bring that into whatever we are doing? So can we learn something from there and bring it? So for that particular reason, I went to TKM Motors and try to understand as to how do they ensure that the takt time is always intact. So the story goes like this: we went to the Toyota production plant, and the a floor manager, he was taking us through the entire assembly line and showing us as to what is happening. I will give you certain examples that the assembly line is moving. The car which is still not complete, doors are not fixed. It is just the machine which is there. So the doors have to be fixed. There are so many nuts and bolts which has to be fixed. The engine has to be fixed, and the assembly line is moving. It is moving. Now imagine that some screw has to be fixed. So what will the person do? Typically, that person will go back to the place where all the screws and nuts and bolts are kept. He will come back to the car and he will fix it. by the time the car would have moved little further in the assembly line. So he has to go ahead further, and he has to keep doing it, this back and forth work. So in order to make sure that they save a lot of time, what they have done, the toolbox, everything is part of the assembly box. The person is standing there and he is fixing while the car is moving, which means we are managing the takt time, which is from the time the car enters, the first car to the second car enter into the assembly line, into the production line. That time cannot be elongated. So how do we save time? How do we ensure that everything happens while the work is happening in the assembly line?